All right, we are live. It's Friday, everyone, and welcome to a special World Corrosion Awareness Day edition of Coatings Talk. I'm Jim Kunkel, and today you and I are joining a global community of professionals who understand one simple truth: corrosion never sleeps, and neither can we. Every April 24th, the world should pause just for a moment to recognize the enormous impact corrosion has on safety, infrastructure, energy, transportation, and the everyday systems people rely on without ever seeing the work behind them. But here's the reality: awareness isn't a slogan, it's a responsibility. And today, on Corrosion Awareness Day, we're stepping into that responsibility together. This live stream is built for the people on the front lines, those inspectors, the applicators, the engineers, the asset owners, the corrosion technicians, the students, and the maintenance teams who all keep critical assets protected and performing. You're the ones who understand that corrosion control isn't optional. It's strategic, it's economic, it's environmental, and it's the essence of public safety. So, over this live broadcast, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the challenges and also two successes that define our industry in 2026. But before we dive deeper into today's World Corrosion Awareness Day program, I want to take a moment to recognize the company making this live stream possible. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Apelix Drone Solutions, the innovators behind the industry leading spray painting drone, a system designed to help contractors work safer, faster, and more consistently on challenging vertical surfaces and elevated structures. If you follow the evolution of industrial coating technology, you might already know that Apelix is pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Their spray painting drone delivers controlled, repeatable application while keeping craft workers out of harm's way. It's a powerful example of how robotics and coatings expertise can come together and work together to solve real world problems in corrosion mitigation. And if you want to see this technology up close, Apelix is hosting an open house on Friday, May 1st in Jacksonville, Florida. You get live demos, hands on access to the drone, and a chance to meet the team driving this innovation forward. If you're an industrial painting contractor, an asset owner, or simply curious about how robotics are reshaping the field application of coatings, this event is worth attending. So once again, a big thank you to Apelix Drone Solutions for supporting today's World Corrosion Awareness Day live stream and for advancing the tools that help keep our industry to protect critical infrastructure every day. So as we recognize World Corrosion Awareness Day, it's important to ground this conversation in the reality of what corrosion costs us, not just as an industry, but as a global society. Corrosion is often invisible to the public, but it impacts anything and everything. Worldwide corrosion is estimated to cost the global economy more than 2.5 trillion US dollars every year. Now that's roughly 3 to 4% of global gross domestic production. That's a staggering number for a problem that's largely predictable and preventable. In the United States alone, corrosion-related damage and maintaining costs exceed over 1 trillion annually. And that affects everything from pipelines and bridges to water systems, transportation networks, and industrial facilities. And when corrosion leads to failures, the consequences go well beyond dollars. We see safety risks, bridge collapses, environmental releases, unplanned shutdowns, and disruption to critical infrastructure that communities depend upon each and every day. Across the energy sector, corrosion remains one of the leading causes of pipeline incidents. In water and wastewater industry, aging assets and corrosive environments are driving billions in replacement and rehabilitation costs. And globally, as infrastructure ages and environmental conditions become more aggressive, the risk profile continues to rise. But here's the part that matters most. Studies show that 20 to 40% of corrosion costs can be avoided through proper design, protective coatings, cathodic protection, inspection, and proactive maintenance. And that means hundreds of billions of dollars and countless failures can be prevented with the right strategies, the right training, and the right commitment. Corrosion isn't just a technical issue, it's an economic issue, a safety issue, and a sustainability issue. And today on World Corrosion Awareness Day, we're here to shine a light on the scale of the challenge and the solutions that can make measurable differences. As we continue our World Corrosion Awareness Day program, I wanted to highlight the core mechanisms of corrosion, the ones that every inspector, applicator, engineer, and asset owner needs to understand. These mechanisms drive the majority of failures that we see in the field, and recognizing them early is a key to prevention. Let's start with uniform corrosion. This is the most common and the most predicted form of corrosion. It attacks the surface evenly, creating a consistent thinning of the metal over time. While it's rarely catastrophic in a sudden way, uniform corrosion is responsible for an enormous amount of maintenance costs across pipelines, tanks, bridges, and other critical steel structures. The good news is that it's also the easiest to detect and control with proper coatings and maintenance planning. Next is galvanic corrosion, which occurs when two dissimilar metals come into electrical contact, and also in the presence of an electrolyte. One metal becomes the anode and corrodes faster, while the other becomes a cathode and corrodes slower. We see this all the time in mixed metal assemblies, such as fasteners and also quick and unplanned repairs. Understanding galvanic series relationships and isolating metals when needed is essential to preventing accelerated attack. Another major mechanism is pitting corrosion. Unlike uniform corrosion, pitting is highly localized. It creates small, deep cavities that can penetrate metal quickly and unpredictably. Pitting is especially aggressive in chloride-rich environments like marine settings, chemical plants, and water treatment systems, because pits can be microscopic at the surface, but severe underneath. This mechanism is one of the most dangerous and difficult to detect. Closely related to crevice corrosion, which develops in shielded or tight spaces where stagnant electrolytes become trapped, like under gaskets, deposits, lap joints, or insulation, well, these low oxygen zones create a chemical imbalance that accelerates attack. Crevice corrosion often progresses unnoticed until a significant damage has already occurred. And finally, stress corrosion cracking, or SCC. This mechanism occurs when tensile stress and corrosive environments combine to form cracks that grow over time. SCC can lead to a sudden catastrophic failure without significant visible corrosion, and it's a major concern in pipelines, pressure vessels, and high-stress components, especially in environments containing chlorides, caustics, or other certain gases. Each of these mechanisms behave differently, but they share one truth: corrosion is active, it's progressive, and influenced by the environment, the material, and the stresses placed upon it. By understanding how these mechanisms work, we can design better systems, select better coatings, and implement better inspection strategies to protect the assets that keep our world running. On World Corrosion Awareness Day, it's important to focus on the frontline defense that protects our assets from deterioration. That's protective coatings and linings. These systems are more than just layers of material. They're engineered barriers designed to interrupt the corrosion process before it even begins. At their core, protective coatings serve three primary functions: barrier protection, inhibited protection, and sacrificial protection. Barrier coatings create a physical shield that prevents moisture, oxygen, and contaminants from reaching the substrate. This includes everything from epoxies to polyurethanes to advanced polymer systems that are used in harsh industrial environments. When properly applied, barrier coatings dramatically slow down the corrosion reaction by isolating the metal from its environment. Inhibitive coatings take a different approach. They contain specialty pigments that interact with the substrate to slow or suppress corrosion activity. And these coatings are often used in primers and maintenance systems where added chemical resistance is needed to extend service life. Then there are sacrificial coatings, systems such as zinc-rich primers that protect steel by corroding preferentially. In other words, the coating sacrifices itself to preserve the underlying metal. This galvanic protection is especially valuable in marine, offshore, and atmospheric environments where corrosion pressure are very high. When we shift from coatings to linings, the focus becomes even more specialized. Linings are designed for immersion surface, where the substrate is exposed to continuous contact with water, chemicals, fuels, or processed media cargoes. These systems must withstand aggressive environments that would rapidly destroy unprotected steel or concrete. High build epoxies, Novolac systems, vinyl esters, and 100% solids linings are engineered to resist permeation, chemical attack, and thermal cycling, all while maintaining adhesion and structural integrity. But even the best coating or lining system is only as good as its surface preparation, its application technique, and the quality control and inspection behind it. A coating applied over contaminated, improperly profiled, or inadequately cured conditions will fail long before its expected service life. That's why trained applicators, certified inspectors, and disciplined QA/QC processes remain essential to corrosion control. Protective coatings and linings are not just products, they're systems, and when they're designed and applied correctly, they deliver decades of asset protection. They reduce life cycle costs, improve safety, and extend the operational reliability of the infrastructure we depend upon every day. So on World Corrosion Awareness Day, it's worth remembering that coatings and linings are one of the most effective, scalable, and proven tools we have in the fight against corrosion. And the professionals who apply and inspect them are a critical part of that mission. As we continue our World Corrosion Awareness Day, it's important to shift from understanding corrosion and controlling it. Corrosion may be inevitable as a natural process, but its impact is absolutely manageable when the right mitigation strategies are in place. Effective corrosion control is built on a layered approach, combining design, materials, coatings, cathodic protection, inspection, and maintenance. No single method solves every problem. It's the integration of these strategies that delivers long-term asset reliability. Let's start with material selection and design. By choosing the right alloys, incorporating corrosion allowances, and designing structures that avoid moisture traps or crevices, that dramatically reduces corrosion risk before the assets enter service. So good design is the first line of defense. Next is surface preparation and protective coatings, which remain the most widely used and cost-effective mitigation tool in the world. Properly applied coatings creates a barrier that isolates a substrate from oxygen, moisture, and contaminants. When combined with disciplinary surface prep, environmental controls, and quality assurance, coatings can extend service life by decades. Another critical strategy is cathodic protection, or CP. Whether through sacrificial anodes or impressed current systems, CP shifts the electrochemical balance to the protective structure and it makes it a cathode, slowing or stopping corrosion activity. CP is essential for buried pipelines, storage tanks, marine structures, and reinforced concrete. We also rely heavily on corrosion inhibitors, especially in closed systems like boilers, cooling loops, and process equipment. These chemicals interact with the metal surface or the environment to reduce corrosion rates. When monitored correctly, inhibitors provide an additional layer of protection where coatings or cathodic protection may not be possible. But mitigation doesn't stop at installation. Inspection and monitoring are the backbone of long-term corrosion control. Techniques like ultrasonic testing, coating surveys, cathodic protection readings, and visual inspections help identify early signs of deterioration before they become failures. Modern tools, including drones, robotics, sensors, and digital twins, Well, they're transforming now how we detect and respond to corrosion in real time and also plan it down in time. Finally, protective maintenance ties everything together. Touch-ups, recoats, anode replacements, cleaning, and environmental management all ensure that protective systems continue performing as designed. Corrosion control is not a one-time action. It's an ongoing commitment. So when these strategies work together, the results are powerful. Reduced life cycle cost, improved safety, fewer unplanned outages, and longer asset service life. So on World Corrosion Awareness Day, it's worth remembering that corrosion may be persistent, but with the right mitigation strategies, it's absolutely controllable. Before I go into the final segment topic, I wanted to take a moment to highlight an organization that's making real difference in our industry, the Corrosion Technician Association, or the CTA. The CTA is accelerating the association's communities of professionals and skilled trades. So if you're an industrial blaster, painter, a coating specialist, a corrosion technician, an inspector, coatings inspector, a contractor, or someone working hands-on in asset protection or supplying into anything coatings and corrosion related, the CTA is built for you. This is the only association created by technicians for technicians with a mission focused on elevating the skilled trades and strengthening the workforce that keeps our infrastructure safe. CTA membership gives you access to practical resources, technician-centered education, industry networking, and a growing community of professionals who share your challenges and your passion for corrosion control. Members also receive a discounted registration for key industry events. For example, the upcoming Piney Woods Corrosion course, short course, along with other opportunities to contribute, collaborate, and stay connected with the latest field-ready knowledge. But importantly, joining the CTA is a way to support the future of our profession. It's a commitment to raising standards, empowering the workforce, and ensuring that the next generation of industrial painters, corrosion technicians, and inspectors, that they have the training recognition, the training, and also support what they really are looking for. If you believe in the work that they do, if you want to grow your skills and your career, if you want to be part of a community that values the trade and the people who perform them, now is the time to join the Corrosion Technician Association. So visit the site you see on the screen after the stream ends and go to the membership page and become part of the movement that's elevating the front line of corrosion control. Now, a big topic to cover, and this is an important one for World Corrosion Awareness Day. It's one we strongly need to focus, and it's one of the most important elements in the entire corrosion control ecosystem. It's the workforce, because coatings, linings, cathodic protection systems, and inspection tools don't protect assets on their own. Skilled people do. Across the globe, we're facing a growing demand for qualified professionals. You have aging infrastructure, you got new technologies, and you have rising performance expectations from owners. Well, that means we need more inspectors, more corrosion technicians, more blasters, more painters, more coatings inspectors, more engineers, and critically, we need to focus hard on skilled tradespeople like the industrial painters, the blasters, and the applicators. These are the craftspeople who turn specification into real-world protection. And without them, nothing gets coated, nothing gets lined, and nothing gets preserved. Workforce development starts with hands-on skills training, surface preparation, abrasive blasting, environmental controls, mixing and application techniques, equipment operation, safety practices. And these are not just, they're not optional skills. They're the backbone of asset integrity. When industrial painters and applicators are trained well, coatings perform the way they're designed to perform, and assets last longer with fewer failures. Next is certification and competency development. Programs for coatings inspections for corrosion technicians and applicators ensure that the people protecting critical infrastructure have the knowledge and the discipline to do the job right. Certification isn't just a credential. It's a commitment to quality, consistency, and professional pride. We also need to invest in upskilling and cross training. Today's workforce must be comfortable with digital inspection tools, robotics, drones, sensors, and data driven maintenance strategies. The future of corrosion control blends traditional craftsmanship with modern technology, and the professionals who can operate in both worlds, they're going to lead the next generation of asset protection. And finally, we must prioritize knowledge transfer. Our industry is rich with decades of experience. Veteran painters, inspectors, surveyors, engineers, they've all seen every failure mode over time. They've seen every coating system and every field challenge that is imaginable. Capturing that wisdom and passing it to the new professionals is essential. Mentorship, apprenticeships, and structured on the job trainings ensure that expertise doesn't retire and that it evolves. Workforce development isn't just an HR initiative, it's a corrosion mitigation strategy because when we train people well, support growth, and elevate the skills trade, we strengthen the entire industry. We protect assets, reduce failures, and build a safer, more resilient future. So on World Corrosion Awareness Day, let's remember the most powerful tool we have in our fight against corrosion isn't a coating, a sensor, or a drone, or cathodic protection per se. It's a skilled, knowledgeable, and empowered workforce from an industrial painter to a senior engineer. So as we wrap up this special World Corrosion Awareness Day edition of Coatings Talk, I want to take a moment to thank every one of you who joined in today. Those inspectors, industrial painters, applicators, engineers, corrosion technicians, asset owners, students, and industry leaders. Your engagements, and I will get to some posts here and questions, and your commitment to this profession is really what keeps this community strong. And today I highlighted the global impact of corrosion, talked about some of the mechanisms that drive it, the protective systems that defend against it, and also mitigation strategies that help keep our infrastructure safe. But more importantly, we recognize the people behind the work, and that's the skilled trades, the industrial painters, the corrosion technicians, the inspectors, and the engineers who show up each and every day to protect the assets that keep our world moving. Corrosion is universal, a universal challenge, but also it's a solvable one. With the right training, the right tools, the right technologies, and the right workforce, we can reduce failures, extend service life, and build safer, more resilient systems for generations to come. And a special thank you to Appellix Drone Solutions for sponsoring today's broadcast and for pushing the boundaries on what's possible in safe, automated coating application. And remember, their open house is Friday, May 1st in Jacksonville, Florida. If you want to see their spray painting drone in action, now's your opportunity. As we close out today's live stream, I encourage you to keep the conversation going. Share what you learned, support workforce development, mentor someone that's new in the industry, and continue raising awareness, not just for today, but every day, because corrosion never sleeps, and neither does our responsibility to control it. Thank you for being part of this global effort, and thank you for the work that you do. And importantly, thank you for spending your time with me here on Coatings Talk. Stay safe, stay engaged, and I'll see you on the next Coatings Talk live stream. But first, let's get into some of the comments that are posted here. Let's see here. We have eagerly waiting for the event. All right. Marion, great overview and reminder of what we do. Jim, thank you so much. And the same to you. Getting the news and communicating that news out to the communities, that's important. And James says the knowledge gap is a real issue impacting our industry. It's experienced personnel retire. Yeah, James, where I really seen it became very of a big issue was during the pandemic when we had gone into lockdown, and I seen so many senior professionals and people who were really connected deeper into coatings and corrosion decide, hey, I'm going to take this opportunity and retire. And so we've seen that drain happen there. And it still continues to this day. We really need to do more on workforce development for professional development, also for the skilled laborers as well, the craft workers. Like I work a lot with the painters union. They do a lot, but there's still so much more that the coatings and corrosion industry needs to do to really kind of plant the seed in the younger generations so that they aren't voluntold during coatings and corrosion, that they want to get involved in coatings and corrosion. So, everyone, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good weekend, and I'll be talking to you again next week. Thank you, everybody.